Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Chio. So picture this. You're sitting in traffic, completely stuck, and it genuinely feels like nothing in the entire universe is moving. Your car hasn't budged in 10 minutes. Time itself feels frozen. Here's the thing though, that feeling is a complete lie. Right now, even sitting perfectly still in that traffic jam, you are moving faster than you could possibly imagine. So today, I want to take you on a ride, literally, from the slowest things in existence all the way up to the fastest thing physically possible in the entire universe. And trust me, the jump between the two ends of this list is so extreme, it's honestly kind of hard to process. Let's start at the bottom, the genuinely painfully slow end. You've probably heard that continents drift apart over time. Well, exactly how fast is that drift? Tectonic plates, the massive chunks of rock that make up the Earth's crust, move at roughly 2 to 5 centimeters per year. That's it. A German scientist named Alfred Wegener first proposed continental drift back in 1912. And honestly, people laughed at him for decades because the idea sounded ridiculous. Entire continents just casually cruising around the globe. Turns out he was completely right, just operating on a time scale that makes literally everything else in your life look instantaneous by comparison. Funny enough, that speed, 2 to 5 centimeters a year, is roughly the same rate your fingernails grow. So next time you clip your nails, just know you're removing evidence of movement roughly equivalent to an entire continent drifting. Slightly faster than that, glaciers. Now, this depends heavily on the glacier. Some barely creep along, but many move somewhere between a few meters and a few hundred meters per year. Glaciologist Ian Jogan, who has spent years using satellite data to track ice sheet movement, has actually documented certain glaciers in Greenland accelerating dramatically as the climate warms, some now moving multiple kilometers per year in extreme cases. Still painfully slow by human standards, but genuinely alarming when you realize an entire wall of ice the size of a small country is quietly creeping forward like some enormous, terrifyingly patient monster. Okay, let's speed things up. Literally. A snail moves at around 0.05 kilometers per hour. You could outwalk a snail using a slow, dramatic movie villain strut. Speaking of walking, an average human strolling casually moves at about 5 kilometers per hour. Nothing impressive there, but it's already thousands of times faster than a glacier, and about 100 times faster than a snail. Now let's get competitive. Usain Bolt, at his absolute peak during his world record sprint, hit a top speed of around 44.7 kilometers per hour. That's an actual human body using nothing but legs and pure controlled chaos, moving nearly as fast as a car cruising through a neighborhood. Genuinely wild when you think about it, meat and bone briefly outrunning small vehicles. Of course, nature already had us beat by a wide margin. A cheetah, at full sprint, can hit around 120 kilometers per hour, which means Usain Bolt, the fastest human who has ever lived, would still get embarrassingly lapped by a large cat that also happens to be adorable. And if we're talking pure speed rather than land speed specifically, a peregrine falcon diving after prey has been clocked at around 389 kilometers per hour, making it the fastest animal on the entire planet. Full stop. Somewhere out there, a bird is casually breaking speed limits that would get a car impounded in most countries. Speaking of vehicles, your average car cruising on a highway sits around 100 to 120 kilometers per hour. A high-speed train, like some of the fastest maglev trains currently running, can hit speeds over 500 kilometers per hour, floating on magnets with basically zero friction, which honestly still sounds like science fiction, even though it's just sitting there in real train stations today. Commercial airplanes cruise around 900 kilometers per hour. And here's a fun one. The speed of sound itself, at sea level, sits right around 1,235 kilometers per hour. That's the actual speed threshold where a sonic boom happens, where an object is moving faster than the sound waves it's creating, so you literally hear the explosion of its own noise catching up after the object has already passed you. Right around that same range, a standard rifle bullet leaves the barrel at somewhere between 1,200 and 1,700 kilometers per hour, depending on the caliber, meaning a lot of ordinary bullets are already flying faster than the speed of sound the instant they're fired. That's actually why you sometimes hear a distinct crack from gunfire. That's the tiny sonic boom of the bullet itself breaking the sound barrier. Military jets and experimental rocket planes blow past that easily. The X 15 rocket plane, a legendary experimental aircraft from the 1960s, hit speeds over 7,200 kilometers per hour during test flights. At that point, you're not really flying anymore in any normal sense. You're basically riding a controlled explosion through the upper atmosphere. Now, here's where things get genuinely mind bending. The fastest human beings have ever physically traveled wasn't in a jet or a rocket plane. It was during the Apollo 10 mission in 1969. The command module, on its way back from the moon, reached a top speed of roughly 39,900 kilometers per hour. Three astronauts sitting inside a tiny metal capsule moving faster than any human being has ever moved before or since. Just sit with that for a second. Nearly 40,000 kilometers per hour, and it still holds the record today. But humans aren't the fastest things we've ever launched into space. Not even close. The Parker Solar Probe, a NASA spacecraft designed to fly ridiculously close to the sun, has reached speeds of around 692,000 kilometers per hour during its closest solar approaches. Dr. Noor Rawafi, the project scientist for the mission at Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, has described it as officially the fastest human-made object ever built. To put that in perspective, at that speed you could travel from New York to Tokyo in about a single second. 1 second. That's not a spacecraft anymore. That's basically a very expensive, very precise bullet aimed at a star. And here's the part that genuinely messes with my head every time I think about it. The probe doesn't get that fast because of some insanely powerful engine strapped to it. It gets that fast mostly because of the sun's own gravity. Every time it swings in close, gravity itself just yanks it forward harder and harder, like the world's most extreme slingshot, one that happens to be an actual star. Engineers basically designed a spacecraft to fall toward the sun on purpose, over and over again, and just let physics do all the real work. And here's the twist nobody really thinks about. Even sitting completely still on your couch right now, you personally are already moving at incredible speeds without feeling a single bit of it. The Earth itself is spinning on its axis, and depending on where you live on the planet, you're being carried around at speeds up to about 1,670 kilometers per hour just from the planet's rotation alone. But that's honestly just the beginning. The Earth is also orbiting the Sun, and that orbital speed is roughly 107,000 kilometers per hour. So even if the planet somehow stopped spinning entirely, you'd still be flying around the sun faster than any jet, any rocket plane, faster than anything humans have built except a handful of specialized spacecraft. And it keeps going. The entire solar system, sun included, is orbiting around the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way. That speed is roughly 828,000 kilometers per hour. So right now, this exact second, you personally are hurtling through the galaxy faster than the Parker Solar Probe travels near the sun, and you didn't even have to do anything except exist on a planet that happens to be moving. So now we've climbed all the way from continents crawling a few centimeters a year to an entire solar system rocketing through a galaxy. What's actually at the top? What's the fastest anything can possibly move under any circumstances anywhere in the entire universe? The speed of light, roughly 1,079,252,848 kilometers per hour. Or if that number feels too enormous to even process, roughly 300,000 kilometers per second. Light could circle the entire Earth about 7.5 times in a single second. Albert Einstein's theory of special relativity, published in 1905, established something genuinely strange about this number. It's not just really fast, it's the actual speed limit of the universe itself. Nothing that has mass, no spacecraft, no particle, absolutely nothing physical can ever reach that speed, let alone exceed it. As an object with mass approaches light speed, the energy required to keep accelerating, it increases toward infinity. Only things without mass like light itself can actually travel at that speed. Everything else, no matter how advanced, how powerful, how far into the future our technology goes, is permanently capped below it. That's honestly one of the most humbling facts in all of physics. Every single thing you've ever seen move, every car, every jet, every rocket, every spacecraft humanity has ever built, all of it exists somewhere on a scale between a slowly drifting continent and an unreachable cosmic speed limit that literally cannot be broken by anything with substance. So think about that traffic jam you were sitting in earlier. Your car wasn't moving an inch. But your planet was spinning at over 1,000 kilometers per hour. It was orbiting the sun at over 100,000 kilometers per hour. And the entire solar system was tearing through the galaxy at over 800,000 kilometers per hour, carrying you, your car, and every single annoyed driver around you along for the ride the entire time. Nothing is ever actually still. Not you, not your car, not this entire planet. You're just moving at a scale too enormous to feel with your own 2 feet. All right, guys, that's the story for today. Hopefully, next time you're stuck in traffic, you can at least annoy the person next to you with some fun cosmic trivia while you both sit there not moving an inch, technically flying through space at nearly 1,000,000 kilometers per hour. I'm Chio. See you in the next video.